here for this.
Yeah, so those of you that are new to the channel, it's a yearly tradition, I think, at this point, that we gather around the fireplace, we hang our stockings with care, and we watch the DElias interact with each other. Sadly, spoiler alert, no Christmas songs this year. So I would go back. Was the episode actually titled like Chris D'Elia's Christmas album or something like that?
I can check right now.
It doesn't matter that much, but go back and watch that episode first, because I think that was a more fun interaction with D'Elia and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But as Craig predicted last week, 'tis the season to have Kristen D'Elia on the program.
Yeah.
And we like Kristen D'Elia on this show. Now, listen, I don't know what their relationship is like. I don't know the reality of what Chris actually did. I know what he's been accused of over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not one of these people that's like, I always hate when they're like, how can you be with this person? Like, she knows him better than I do, so she's obviously chosen to stay with him.
Right.
But she is has no fear of subtly criticizing him on his podcast for the things we all know.
Yeah. The first clip here we have is what didn't he say?
Yeah, so you'll notice Chris stop himself here, and I'm so curious where his mind went that he wouldn't allow it to.
And if the very beginning of this episode, he spent like 2 straight minutes criticizing the way she speaks into a microphone.
Yeah, and bitching at her for hanging decorations around the house.
All the decorations, if you're watching along, all the decorations you see in his studio, he walked in and she had just hung all of this up.
Yeah. What a cunt.
Sounds like a lovingly
Nah, filthy whore.
Yeah. You should cheat on her, Chris.
You don't. First of all, no men say they only want men around, right? There's no parties where it's like, dude, no chicks allowed, only dudes.
Some guys like that.
Who?
Babe, your hangouts are like that.
But that's not. Yeah, but
your hangouts are like that, right?
But I think but that's because I have to, is what I think he wanted to say.
I got caught.
I'm not allowed to hang with 17-year-olds anymore. Don't you understand? Let's hear that pause again, where I think he was about to step in something. And good for Chris. I think he's maturing a little bit.
He almost steps in something every time they speak on these.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Some guys like that.
Who?
Babe, your hangouts are like that.
But that's not. Yeah, but so I'm married though. But like I'm saying, when somebody is just
if I wasn't married, or if I was like 6 months ago. That's my favorite thing about Chris D'Elia is, like, again, if they're happily married, great. And if he doesn't cheat on her anymore, terrific. I hope they have a happy life together. But the thing about the Chris D'Elia problem, the documentary by Kyle Anderson, is that the main thing was, what made it bad for Chris is every interaction he was having with these young girls was either, forcing himself on them, or saying like, oh, I wish I could be with you right now, but my bitch wife is making me hang with my dumb kid.
It was that tone for
though. But like I'm saying, when somebody is just a single dude, they don't want only dudes around.
Yeah. No, they don't, Chris. Do they? What do they want? Why do you enlighten us?
You gotta be honest though. It's like, I remember being single and being like, yeah, dude, hanging out with the boys is just fun sometimes. There's no
Chris is so obsessed with pussy that, but this is where he's not being honest. Again, I'm not going to judge a guy if he cheated on his wife in the past, whatever. I don't care about any of that. Mm-hmm. My thing with Chris is, and why I believe a lot more happened than he wants us to believe, is the fact that he never addressed it. The fact that he apologized when everyone was calling him a pedophile. He came out and apologized for cheating on his wife.
Right.
When the documentary came about him, saying all this behavior was still going on, and legitimately accused him of rape, not grooming or any of the other stuff, said he was forcing these women to fuck him and blow him and all this stuff. Literally said, like, do what I say and you won't have any problems. So
that was a legit text that leaked.
So when that documentary comes out, Chris goes, hey, randomly, guys, I just went to rehab this month. No, I'm not going to give you nothing happened that made me go or anything. I'm not going to talk about why, but I did go to rehab. So there's a weirdness to Chris not addressing any of it that makes me like uncomfortable. And that's why I think this weirdness is there. It's not because he cheated on his wife or whatever. You know, I don't care about what people's relationships are personally. But that's the weirdness is like, I think he's a rapist and hasn't addressed it. That's what's uncomfortable about it.
What did for sure happen though is he cheated on his wife, and we get moments like this next clip where she gives him nothing.
Yeah.
I was living with Lauren. Like, I remember we would decorate for the holidays and we would have nights where we would just stand, we'd drink a glass of wine, we'd do our laundry together. I maybe slept in my own bed twice. I would only sleep in her bed.
And she would sleep in yours?
Yeah. We'd cuddle and we'd
So
snuggle.
you'd still sleep in opposite beds?
We just wanted to be
You're
together.
not getting the joke. God damn it. She's in her nostalgia. I'm saying she slept in your bed and you slept in her bed.
Like, get why that's a joke.
No, I get it, but
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no, it's not that funny, but you.
I'm with you, Kristen. Go back now. Go back just a little bit because our friend Coach HP could learn from Kristen. Yes, Kristen is on her man's podcast, but she doesn't feel any pressure to laugh at his horrible jokes.
God,
Coach HP could learn from this.
She's in her nostalgia. I'm saying she slept in your bed and you slept in her bed. Like at different time at the same time.
No, I get it, but
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no, it's not that funny, but you have to at least acknowledge it.
Sure.
Anyway, we did.
She is sick of him pretending he's funny.
You're not supposed to react like the internet, babe.
Yeah, I'm having you in here because you're a fan of mine, remember?
She's the best.
She is good on these podcasts. Like, she makes his episodes actually good.
She's not like with Kalila.
No, I will say it's an interesting instinct. Like, I know everyone wants to hear someone with their wife. Like, hey, wouldn't it be interesting if this guy had his wife on the podcast and they could just talk about their home life? But what's actually interesting is a Kristen DElia interview would be interesting, yet Chris isn't willing to talk about the topic that everyone is curious about.
Yeah,
So it's very convoluted.
There's probably some legality, something in writing. Like, yeah, you like that money? You shut your mouth.
Oh, so I mentioned this. This is weird because, like, anytime Twitter allegations come out, like, I don't know what's true, what's real. I guess another girl has come forward and claimed the LAPD is looking into Chris again for human trafficking. I've seen no articles come out like that or anything, so I don't think it's true. But someone on Twitter did say this, and there is apparently like a relationship she had with Chris D'Elia at some point. So I don't know.
That's a fucking accusation and a half.
I have no idea. So
allegedly,
she deleted the tweet also. If that's any evidence that it didn't happen.
Yeah, it probably didn't happen then. But he did fuck like those 14-year-olds. Allegedly. This next clip is called "Ignoring the Issues."
Sure.
Look, it's third down. That's what they do. Because let me tell you something, man. It's so, you have to, I guess, experience what it is you're actually feeling. But man, I'll be damned, do you? Because you could just, you could just be like, hey, problems? Psh, get out of here. Do I have problems? Yeah, but do I?
Yeah.
No.
And you know what, babe?
I'm going to bowl out with the spinach dip.
That worked out fantastic for you.
I'm saying you can do that, though. There are guys who do that successfully and then just like die at like 82. I didn't do it successfully. I obviously, a lot of my shit.
Hold on. Listen to him backtrack now. Because he's like, but I could be like all the guys that did it really well, that got away with it.
She doesn't hold back on these. I will, to his credit, once
having her on and putting out the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say, if we're being objective today, listening to this episode, I started to think like maybe Chris has kind of grown a little bit. Like there's some stuff he was better at taking than he was last year.
Right.
So maybe like, hey, if he's found help and everything, it's still fun to make fun of. But if he's found help and everything, good for him, I guess. But
unless the underage child rape was real, then fuck him.
Then fuck him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's Craig. That's Craig covering for his own sins. But
oh yeah.
But it's very funny that she straight up is like, Hey, remember how you ignored your issues and lost your entire career? Remember for a little while? And now everyone's just letting you get away with it, I guess. So you're fine.
You just put out a special being like, man, I want my career back.
Yeah.
Problems? Psh, get out of here. Do I have problems? Yeah, but do I?
Yeah.
No.
And you know what, babe?
I'm gonna bowl out with the spinach dip.
That worked out fantastic you.
I'm saying you can.
Remember when everyone called you a pedophile?
That worked out great.
Remember, think of all the people who won't return your phone calls right now. Remember them?
Can do that though. There are guys who do that successfully and then just like die at like 82. I didn't do it successfully. I obviously,
Sure.
you know, a lot of my shit is like arm's length humor,
yeah.
you know, like
Grooming, child molesting.
You know, that funny stuff. Remember those laughs we had?
The stuff I wish I could keep getting away with.
I want his wife at one of these episodes to be like, I really miss Whitney.
How's Rogan doing? You heard from him?
You been on there lately?
How's Austin? You been invited down?
Did you do the comedy mothership yet? That big room, those Instagram posts, they blow up.
It was pretty cool. They were working out with The Rock the other day. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Love The Rock. Next, we have them talking about divorce.
Yeah, so there are some things that are not so subtle here, where it's like, where you said like give Chris credit for putting it out. This I'll credit him with because this feels like a very real like argument simmering under the conversation.
For sure. Like he probably beat the shit out of her as soon as the cameras went off.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't know about that.
Is that out of his character? Who knows?
Yeah, yes. I'll say yeah. I have no idea. Jesus.
Maybe.
But like when it comes to dudes,
Yeah.
they can do that successfully for 85 years.
Sure.
And then just be like, I was a dude. Peace out. And then the wife is like, oh man.
But here's the thing.
I wish he cried more.
No, that's actually not what happens. What happens is the guy celebrates his 20th wedding anniversary and then he goes to work and then he comes home with a note saying that she left because she's been asking for the same things for 20 years and he's just been bearing it and not listening to her. And so then he is sad and lonely for the last 20 years. But I will.
Or another way to say that would be like if you're a serial cheater and you get publicly embarrassed, and then your wife says, could you stop cheating on me? And then a documentary comes out where you're not only cheating on her, but kind of trashing the wife behind the scenes. But it would be like that. Like if you kept ignoring that as a problem, and that happened for like 20 years, let's say, eventually that person would probably leave you.
And so then he is sad and lonely for the last 20 years. But I will
She's seen
agree.
too many Laura Linney movies, dude.
Oh my God. But I do agree. Well, most women initiate divorces. I think it's like 70%. And the majority of them cite exhaustion.
Yeah.
Which is such an interesting phrasing, because if I think of Chris D'Elia and his comedy and his podcast and his brand, one word would come to mind. Fucking exhaustion.
Imagine living with him. Oh my God.
He's gotta be, unless it's a total character or something. That his whole act with like the repeating and the voices and the inflection, there's no better word than exhausting. Like holy shit.
He's like a fucking spaz the whole time too.
How much attention do you need, Chris? I got it.
Does he ever like just chill on the couch and like hang?
Well, we'll find out what his hobbies are in a little bit, but
yeah, this is women's fault.
As we know, a man who has grown, he's gone to rehab, he's gone through public scrutiny. This man has clearly grown, I think.
How many women go like this? The kids, and I had to take the thing, and then we had to do this, and really the only thing you have to do is the shit you have to do. But women will be like, you have no idea. I had to go find Uggs. Oh my God, I had to go get the plants to give to the lady to say thank you. You don't even need to do all that shit. And then they'll be like, you know what? I'm so exhausted from all the shit that I made up. I'm gonna divorce my husband. Yeah. And we're the bad guy.
Honey, I know you're joking, but like what percentage of you for real believes that?
She's about to divorce him on the show.
It seems like a very real, like this would be so uncomfortable to have on air, which is again why I credit him for putting it out at least. But it feels like there's some real underlying tension here.
For sure. Next we have Rationalizing.
Yeah, Chris has never been one to do this before, so maybe I'm taking a leap here. But I think he may be summing things up in a way that's beneficial to him.
Half of women are probably like that.
Christopher. Fighting words.
But you're not like that, I hope. But like,
You're real forgiving, actually.
Hold on. I hope.
I mean,
She stood by him through what would be the worst moment. The internet is calling you a pedophile.
mhm,
Apparently, the FBI looked into him,
mhm.
and she stood by him. And he's like, "No, I don't think you're one of those ladies, but I mean, I don't really know you that well yet."
Insane. And do you remember? I don't know if you remember on the last episode, the last one of these that we did.
Mhm.
Like he was giving her so much shit.
I will say he was better at that. He wasn't as critical of her as a human being. This was more criticizing all women to her face.
I bet because they do couples like counseling.
Yeah.
He talks about it a lot. She probably took that episode to the doctor and was like, "I need you to watch this." And
You
like,
believe this?
Just watch this.
Yeah.
half of women are probably like that.
Christopher. Fighting words.
But you're not like that, I hope. But like,
What do you mean you hope? You've known me for 7 years.
No,
Of
no,
course
no.
you
But
know.
I'm saying like you can still leave me. But I'm saying like because of
Oh,
exhaustion.
no,
you can still
not-
leave-
Yeah, imagine after all that I've done, you leave me because you're tired.
Now I'm gonna leave you, you asshole.
You stayed long enough that like you can collect money when we divorce.
because of
But yeah,
exhaustion.
but it's there is an interesting like self-awareness where he is kind of like, well, you could leave me because you're fucking exhausted by me. At least he has that going. I'll give him that.
Right.
Yeah.
But really, what it is you went to Michael's too many times, the craft store. You did. You
I forgot. Hold on. I gave him credit too quick. I forgot. He was blaming himself for a second and then said, but if you actually did leave me, it would be your fault, just so you know.
I think he's
Wait,
joking.
Well, you're right, because it's way out of character for him to be like,
No.
hey, if you don't do what I want, I'll kill myself.
That's right.
That's not something he's been accused of 1,000 times.
That's right.
that
Imagine after all we've been through that was like how you rectified it in your head because you
Yeah,
couldn't come
no.
to grips with your own like consequences that you face. And you're like, you know what? You just went to Michael's
Yeah.
too many times and left my ass.
Michael's is a craft store that she's goes to all the time, and she's not going to leave me because of exhaustion, because it's not. No, because that's the shit. Women are gatherers, and they take a bunch of shit and they fucking gather, and they got to go out and get the stuff. And well, guys are the hunters, but the women gather it all together, and before you know it, they're like, "Oh man, this is too much. I divorce you."
Jesus. I do like that she's like, imagine after everything you've done, if it was just, if that's how you rationalized it.
You know what? I think I'm very publicly exhausted with you. This one is just labeled Kristen is the best.
She's a good egg. I enjoy her on the show. Chris should have her on more. Quarterly, maybe.
I think we should try to get her on this program. You got some-
I don't think. Well, here's the thing, though, is like we make jokes and everything. She's clearly a loyal wife. You
Right.
know? She's
Right.
nothing if not that.
Well,
Dude.
here's where I think you're flawed.
But okay, and I want to hear this. Trust me, I really want to hear this. But I am so done with this conversation. And go ahead and
How are you?
No.
Move on.
He's realized. By the way, he brought this up,
Yeah.
and he's realizing how it's coming off, and he's like, "I'm done. I don't want to hear it anymore."
Again, I'm stunned this part wasn't cut out.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting about that too is there's a moment later where like he's looking something up, and it's like silent, and she's like, "You can just cut this part out later, right?" And he's like, "No, why would we?" I was like, "She's a better podcaster than you, Chris. What are you doing?"
Silence is bad.
done with this conversation. And go ahead and
How are you?
No.
Move on.
No. I don't even mean like moving on. I mean like keep going, but like I think I am done paying attention.
That's helpful.
Sure.
But I'm being
Which
loving.
would be a reason if you did that
Exhaustion.
consistently that women would leave it. Yeah.
Talk to the microphone and go ahead. And what were you going to say? Your flaws. Go ahead. I want to hear it.
Well, I'm just saying your flaw
Yeah.
specifically is
Of course.
over the years, because
could
you know you have a thing with women. Some deep-seated issues surrounding women.
Babe.
What?
Good for her.
I mean, without getting like too nitty gritty about it, but
Their age might be a problem.
Without, yeah, you know, you'll like when they're still in high school.
I'm still gonna believe you until you're in cuffs that you're not lying to me.
Yeah, I'm going to assume you're not doing it anymore, even though the last time you said you weren't doing it anymore, you were still doing it. But
you have had some misconceptions about women that when I've
Of course.
like
heard
their
them-
age.
heard you
What grade are they in, Chris?
discuss them with me, and in couples therapy, me and the therapist are both like this.
Okay.
That you like
You
actually
have to stop doing that meme face. All right.
just do it the whole time. That you actually believed that.
Like
And-
when you said sushi gave you stomach aches, and I thought you were lying because you didn't want sushi.
Yeah, because that's something
That
that
I
you would
would
do.
You know what, dude? That gave me stomach ache. Fuck, bro. Listen. All right. Look, can we talk about like pants or something?
Sure.
Can we just move on for the love of fuck? Stop talking about my issues.
I'm getting absolutely crushed right now.
He held in there a lot longer than he usually does. That was the good thing.
We've talked about this in the past too. He has no choice but to just fucking eat that. until
Yeah, and I'll give him this though. He's better at it now. He said like, I'm having her on, so we got to talk about that. He's a little. I mean, you hear him there where he's like, "Can we move on?" Even though
Right.
he brought all this shit up.
right.
But like, it's less snippy and bitchy than it was last year when we watched them.
Right. We're going back to the gym.
You guys remember last week, or a couple weeks, whenever we talked about Chris last, where you know he just loves hanging out in the gym, bro.
The alarming thing.
Well, the guy's back in the gym. Maybe Kristen doesn't quite know yet how much he loves the gym, so he has to inform her now as well.
The alarming thing is, as someone who has been with you for a very long time, when you get obsessed with things can go awry.
Dude.
And you in the gym, it's like
Talking
love
about
the gym.
teenagers.
an absolute love story, which is great for like you're working out, you're feeling better about yourself, your mental health's great. It's giving you endorphins, all these great things. But it's more the amount of time that I see focused on it. Like you're on the couch
I watch workout videos.
scrolling like buff guys, like looking to see, you're putting it on YouTube, like whatever cow's watching you, like switch it out so you can watch this guy do curls.
Mom workouts.
Yeah, it's like
Dude.
you are like so go hard.
I go 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
or 0 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I do, dude.
I kind of like that too. Maybe that's why we get along.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
do
that's
stuff
why.
at the gym that people come up to me and they go like, "What are you doing?" And I
Yeah.
say, "Oh, no,
He's
no, no."
referencing the guy last week, remember?
Yeah. I think he does 100 miles an hour is drive to a 14-year-old girl's house.
Drive to a state where it's illegal what he wants to do.
So we got 2 left here.
Oh, so I just love that he brought back up the gym. Like he's like, I love being in the gym, man.
Remember when you guys were giving me shit about like this guy talking to me?
I just love being. Is that in the outro yet, by the way?
No, not yet. I have everything ready. I just got to
good.
do it.
All right.
It will be. Respect is the last, second to last clip.
Oh, well, it's something Chris knows very well is respect. Maybe he's learned over the years. Let's hear about it.
And I go, even just doing that right now.
It makes me want to stop.
Hold on. That feels nice. So when I work,
Can I tell you what he's talking about, by the way? I mean, if you like Chris D'Elia now, this is going to make you like him so much more. Is that, you know what kind of guy he is in the gym?
You know, like the guy who keeps his headphones on, sticks to himself.
The guy that fucking grunts when he drops his weights.
Ugh,
Ugh, that guy.
the worst.
That's the kind of guy, because he says it feels good. So that's the kind of guy he is in the gym, I guess.
He doesn't have the body type to do that. He's still scrawny.
I guess he's looking pretty buff these days. I don't know, according to other gym goers, apparently. So this is him in the gym.
It makes me want to stop.
hold on. That feels nice. So when I work out and I'm putting the weights on and I go, "Zuh," or whatever it is, that shit's nice. That shit's nice.
Yeah, I respect you.
Well, I don't, but you only respect me because I don't give a fuck about it.
No, I respect you because I respect you because you're my husband and I'm trying to learn how to let you just be you as long as it's not hurting our family.
That's the best one.
She's the best.
He's like, as long as you're just not fucking anything that moves,
Just
and
please.
you're not Snapchatting sluts while our toddler's in the back seat, then I'm just gonna be fine with it. I might roll my eyes, but whatever.
I'll live with it at that point.
That's as long as it's not actively hurting our family.
This last one we have is short, and it just says, "This hurts my heart."
This one hurt me a little bit. Like, they're talking about being hurt themselves. It hurt me to hear a little bit, where I was like, she's just like, this is her life. Listen, I have 2 kids now. She's a mom. This is her husband. Like, she kind of has to make this work, you know?
Yeah, that's something I need to work on. I need to work on letting you
Do whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Well, that's a big thing. Like, Chris has not gotten past that. That's it. There's a lot of evidence of him saying, I want to do whatever I want, whenever I want.
That's the life of a single person.
Right. Yeah, which makes you think maybe he shouldn't have gotten married. There is an element to Chris, like, sure, there are clear allegations of rape, but maybe those nosy busybodies are just wanting a little attention. Who knows?
What he wants, you can't have when you're married and have children.
It's the Derek Jeter thing where people say, like, if Tiger Woods just lived his life like Derek Jeter, no one would have given a shit.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, like, why did Chris get married if he wanted to live? Because he's a selfish guy. But this is it. He says he wants to do whatever he wants to do, and this is Kristen just putting up with that mentality.
Yeah, that's something I need to work on. I need to work on letting you
Do whatever I want, whenever I want to. I agree.
I need to work on letting you be you when it's not hurting anybody.
Anyone's heart.
When it's not hurting anybody.
She stopped herself from saying my heart specifically.
He's such a fucking child.
When I'm not watching documentaries where they're literally laying out how disrespectful to me you've been.
He is such a child.
I just want to let you do whatever you want, as long as it's not ripping me open and tearing my insides out. So Kristen's a good sport, and I here's the thing I'll say about DElia. If that's their dynamic in real life, that they can joke like that, and she knows he's innocent of any like real crimes, then I say good for them and live happily ever after. You know,
right?
But the thing is, he's been accused of rape multiple times.
And there's a lot of evidence.
There's a lot of allegations, at least, and yeah, that Kyle Anderson laid out some pretty good evidence.
Yeah,
so who knows?
But
the thing, you know, what's interesting, and it's funny that I'm the one getting these comments. If you know my history, but a lot of comments we've gotten sometimes when we post DElia videos is like, "Oh, really? So, what crime did he commit again? What is he guilty of?" And I'm like, I guess, but I don't know. Are you just saying everyone's lying? I guess is the question. You know? Like Cosby, I mean, he was committed a crime, right? But just got off on a technicality.
He got off on the craziest technicality of all time.
Convicted, I should have said. But yeah, like, you know, like sometimes people get off.
Shut up.
Chris.
Often in places you shouldn't.